Anyway, Kalia is excited about the bridge building competition. We brought all the materials here, right? But we don't get to use them right now. Can't you just you can't make them right now? I guess it's a bridge building competition. Or like you don't have the finished product already made. You have to actually make it. I guess that's the contest. That's the whole point of the competition. Did I save actually? I should save. Save. Oop. Perhaps it was meant to be a declaration of resolve or something of the sort. But with how her face was innocuously smeared with food, it looked more like a bib-totting toddler than her bold competitor. Unable to stomach the yucky sight, Triss immediately butts in and starts wiping Kalia down with a handkerchief. Jeez, Chris, can't you read the atmosphere? Thumbs up. Atmosphere. I can read it. Forget about what I said about Winna. We're not cool kids at all. We're pretty lame, actually. With an inquiring tilt of her head, Winna listens on as the rest of us break into laughter. She probably didn't fully understand what was going on, but she smiles warmly at the good cheer we surround her with. Meals really are the best when shared in the company of others. Hey, hasn't lunch break been over for a while now? Yes, but it appears that Mr. Naro has more pressing obligations to attend to. Our ever-dedicated school teacher was currently in the process of revising today's lesson plans with his face drool. Fell asleep again? How many times must he be punished before he learns his lesson? With a grin that proves he's up to no good, Triss taps on Kalia's shoulder and gestures shadily at Mr. Naro's defenseless figure. Comprehending his intentions with ease, Kalia snickers impishly. Hey, Irwina. Would you turn a blind eye if we decided to play a prank on your dad? Wording. Gaffs. I suppose can't be helped. Just don't let things get too out of hand. Gaffs everywhere. Alright, good. So, Gwenna's in. What should we do now? The Literate's repertoire of pranks are quite expansive, but the usual antics wouldn't cut it if they wanted to do something Gwenna could appreciate. Scanning the room for ideas, my eyes catch Naletta as she plays around with Susie, a younger classmate. He doesn't get a character sprite though, because she's unimportant to the plot. The little one was teasing Naletta in a saccharine voice as she floated the balloon in and out of her reach. The scales have fallen from my eyes. We'll give him helium voice. With a grand gesture, I directed one's attention to the lightning scene before us. Oh, cat out of nowhere? The highest form of approval, Triss spontaneously produces a white cat from somewhere and begins stroking it like an evil mastermind. How did you get that cat? Where did it come from? I'm really feeling it. Feline it. Goddammit. Firing off a clawful pun, Kalia and Triss set off to procure a balloon. Father with helium voice. I cannot say the prospect is without appeal. Well, you should do bad things to people who are sleeping. Remember last time when you tied my sleeves together when I was sleeping? That was so mean. T-Rex Lorona is best Lorona. Likely due to her overloaded schedule, Lorona had a habit of switching off whenever she was rendered even remotely cozy. Naturally, that put her on the receiving end of countless pranks on our part. Don't bully the lasagna. But it's also really bad to fall asleep in class as a teacher. I don't know. I can't stop imagining Mr. Nero squeaking like a cute little mouse. With our moral compass compromised by eternal conflict, there was nothing left to stand in our way of our schemes. Oh no. Upon successfully persuading the owner... Why? Stop it. The Lyra twins returned with the letter and balloon in tow. Alright, So who will be the lucky soul carrying this out? Triss is good at being quiet. I mean, I guess he is. As if he'd been shot through the heart, Triss slumps to the ground, cat scampering from hand. This isn't even Gaff territory anymore. This is just plain harassment. Well, Triss is KIA. I'm not suitable for the job because of reasons. Oh yeah. And Naletta and Norona are Naletta and Norona. Therefore, I nominate A to bear the torch. Oh. I will seize the scepter of victory. I guess we're up to it. Roused by Kalia's flawless reasoning, I brandish the balloon with steel resolve. If what you need to do entails ensuring that father stays asleep, I can also be of service. He has a peculiar habit of sleeping deeply when his head is scratched a certain way. What is he, a cat? With uncanny composure, Uina discloses shocking intel to us. Oh, he's like a kitty cat. It's decided then. Let Operation Phelium begin. With a grand sweeping motion, I announce the commencement of our mission. I'll be counting on you to disable the dragon while I sneak to his lair to loot the gold, Rowena. Today is the first time that we've involved Rowena in one of our missions. As such, no matter how fraught with peril this undertaking may be, failure cannot be allowed. Mission starto. Ducking into the shadows of one of the first row's desks, I stand by as Rowena moves into position. With the wisdom of a weathered sage, she works her magic, chanting forbidden verses from a world beyond our own. Meow. Nyan. These verses, of course, had a mild resemblance to the mewing of a kitten, but I digress. The slumbering dragon's dangling glob of drool expands in size as the great sorcery takes effect. When Rowena signals in my general direction, I rapidly commence my infiltration. Posturing myself next to the throne, I look back to see what all our comrades are watching with bated breath. Everyone is counting on me. Reveling in the sensation of pressure, I carefully undo the knot, keeping the balloon shut before bringing it to my quarry's mouth. Doing this properly was a delicate balancing act. Too little, it would have no effect. Too much, and our harmless prank could veer into dangerous territory. I don't want him to suffocate. With helium. It's now or never. Gauging the rhythm of its inhalations, I wait for the perfect window to release the balloon's opening. The dragon's eyelids twitch in discomfort as its lungs abruptly fill with helium. Fall back, fall back! Pulling away, I whisper as loud as I dare to Rowena. Wasn't this a psychological thriller and visual novel? I guess this is the true psychological thriller. Playing pranks on our teacher. The two of us swiftly withdraw, taking our seats just as Mr. Rao stirs and shakes his head in disorientation. Noticing the room full of diligently waiting students, he opens his mouth to apologize. Oh dear, my apologies for keeping you all waiting. I guess that's what it sounds like with helium. His squeaky voice issues a series of sniggers from the kids with less restraint. Is there something on my face? Faced with his clueless expression, even the students with greater willpower were beginning to waver. I mean, well, shouldn't he know this by now? You know, you can't hear your own voice when you have helium, right? Unless, actually, I don't know. I never done the whole helium trick. You know, when you inhale helium. I never actually done that in real life. But I wonder, can you hear yourself with helium, or maybe it's only to other people? I'm not sure. Oh, what's going on? At a classroom full of children on the verge of cracking, Mr. Naral could only look on in confusion. Marina, what did you guys do? Whatever do you mean, father? The students are merely amused by the squeaky persona you suddenly started acting out. The dam finally breaks at Rowena's feign of ignorance. Unable to hold it back anymore, the room floods with bouts of laughter. Huh? Well, now that you mention it, my voice does sound unusually high-pitched. Who did this? I guess, yeah, now he mentioned, what was the word? Now he recognizes it. Yeah, his voice. Mr. Naral's attempt to menace us in his harmless, mousy voice prompts several kids to fall out of their seat, rolling on the floor laughing. Wow. Literally. Miss Morale's eyes sweep over the classroom angrily for a while before eventually coming to a rest on a certain desk. Did you bring a balloon here for your birthday, Susie? Miss Morale presses a palm to his face as he pieces it together. You mischievous little cretins. That's it. Outside right now. 10 laps around the schoolyard for all of you. Even the dispensing of our punishment only goads more laughter out of us because of his delivery in a shrill, innocuous voice. When I look over at Rowena's seat, it pleases me to see that she's laughing her heart out alongside the rest of us. Even after carrying out our penance, the only thing anyone had to say about the whole ordeal was, worth it. Stoic and detached, that was the kind of air Rowena always seems to carry about her. I'm glad we were able to close the distance and see her smiling wholeheartedly for once. Every time I see Rowena's name, I did say I was going to pronounce it Rowena, but then I keep saying other pronunciation. Rowena. It's hard. Names are hard to pronounce. Oh no. Well, mission accomplished. Oh, and here's the town, the urban core, I assume. After grumpily instructing us through the remainder of the afternoon lessons, Mr. Narrow dismisses the class for the day. With Triss leaving the bulk of his materials at school, we had a considerably lighter load to bear as we forayed into town. I know I said I'd tag along, but I can't really stick around for anything too lengthy. Due to her talent and unique aesthetic, there was a generous demand for Lorona's hand-woven products. Balancing school and work must have been surely taxing, but you never guessed it looking at her ditzy smile. Yep, we're just stopping by the Morella Bakery for a bite. I reassure her as we make a final turn that places us squarely at our destination. Placing my hand on the door, I stop and exchange a glance with the Laritrans, the twins. I wonder if they're thinking the same thing I am. With puckish grins on their faces, they nod back at me. Newfound determination lights inside me as I push open the door to a familiar reception. To the bakery! Ooh, a new character. Welcome to the Morella... The docile voice that greets us quickly transforms into squeaks of terror as 3 silhouettes dash forward with impeccable speed. Super spontaneous! Tickle attack! Ah! The coronation of seasoned Wolfpack, Triss and I brutally close in our target's flanks as Kalia circles behind her for the takedown. Oh no, this is what the warning is for, depictions of cruelty. Tickle. More tickling, glomping and numbing. What are you eating her? Don't eat her. Stop. Alouette can't take anymore. After biting into the spoils of our successful hunt to our heart's content, we finally were led to let Alouette catch her breath. Depictions of what was it? Depictions of extreme violence. Yes, that's what it was. My God, I can't believe we're all on the same page. The Larry twins exchange a painful-looking forehead 5 to celebrate our clean kill. Oh, forehead 5? Interesting. Ow, not so hard, dummy. Well, not everyone is as blockheaded as you are. Triss dances out of the way as Kalia attempts to avenge their collective loss of brain cells with an angry knee. A joint maneuver from 3 directions at once to pincer the target. Double envelopment, a classical tactical stratagem topped off with a rear blindside to seal the deal. Wow, what a general, what a lieutenant. All executed perfectly with a minimum of communication. Whoa, really we're breathing in sync. Yay. Though she doesn't really seem to get why. Enthused, Noletta joins in our training. We're cheering, and why is Lorona so scared? Yeah, you guys are so scary. That face. After regaining control of her breathing, Alouette finally recovers from our trouncing and manages to get back on her feet. You really surprised Alouette. Alouette Basia, a young woman with a stilted style of speaking. I work here at the Morella Bakery. Yeah, she's Apparently, she's referring to herself in third person. I mean, that's a bit of an anime trope, you know? It tends to indicate immaturity of some sort, or at least a little bit of a childish-like nature. Though she was twice my age with change to spare, the impression she gave off could be best be likened to a small woodland animal. Why is Alouette so irresistibly huggable? This calls for further investigation. Patapyon! Patapyon! Patapon! In the name of science, I press my cheek up against her and start nuzzling her. Pachi pachi. Pachi pachi. Isn't that... That's a Japanese onomatopoeia for clapping, isn't it? Or patting or clapping? I don't know. Alouette responds with a similar nonsense noise as she caresses my head with a serene expression. Hey, me too, pet me too. And he can't say anything, he's like, exclamation mark. The rich twins push and shove as they struggle for the right to be spoiled by Alouette as well. Wow, Alouette only has 2 hands. While Alouette had 2 younger siblings she was used to pampering, 3 at once must have been beyond what she was accustomed to. You look like a sunbathing kitten, Alouette. There are ways of reaching out and connecting with others even for those who are poor at expressing themselves through speech. It was through interacting with Alouette through such a method, touch, that we become to understand how much of a sweetheart she truly is. So many waifus. Hey, can't you see you're imposing on Alouette? Seemingly interpreting Alouette's monopoly of our noggins as an infringement on her territory, Lorena tries peeling us away. Yeah, Lorena's the big sister. Big sis Lorena can doll out wicked pats too. But though she does her best to emulate Alouette, it is simply not meant to be. Oh, poor Lorena, never taken seriously. You know, it doesn't feel half bad when you brush my hair, but you suck at giving head pats, Lorena. With a solemn shake of his head, Triss extends a disapproving thumbs down. Oh no. Eh? I don't get it. How hard could it be? Lorena, my friend, the art of headpats is a path that can only be pursued when one has cleared their mind and heart. Isn't your anxiety and jealousy breeding into your movements? Nani? Unable to be sated by Lorena's ham-fisted malarkey, we abandoned her in favor of Alouette's seamless strokes. No, where did I go wrong? When did I stray from the light? It was no exaggeration to say Alouette was a master at this haptic form of communication. The way she gradually adjusted pressure from delicate to firm, migrated at perfect intervals from spot to spot, and mixed it up between her nails, finger pads, and palm was simply superb. But even more important than her peerless form and technique was the calming aura and pure intent her movements projected. Whenever she touches you, it feels like your heart connects with hers for the briefest of moments. Wow. Noletta too. Alouette will pat. Noletta too. Noticing Noletta standing off by herself, Alouette tries reaching out to her. However, Noletta doesn't budge an inch. Without a word, she stares on silently at Alouette's outstretched arm. Unsure how to interpret Noletta's response, Alouette tiptoes into range and bashfully runs her fingertips against Noletta's snow-white tresses. Meep, meow, Noletta has such soft, poofy hair. Blah, that's no good, Noletta. You can't get head pats unless you make gibberish noises too, gibberish sounds too. You gotta... That's how it works, when you get head pats, you're supposed to make gibberish? Nyeh. You sound like a constipated cat. You have to put your heart into it, Noletta. However, Noletta steps back from Alouette in a show of unmistakable rejection. Eh? Though she seems confused and distressed, Alouette's attention is quickly diverted by the needy Lyra twins. Noletta does not want to receive headpats from Alouette. What's the matter, Noletta? Sidling up to her, I whisper to her in a hushed voice. Alouette smells. Oh. Is that what it is? I'm pretty sure she knows how to bathe on her own and like a certain someone at first. My banter doesn't seem to lighten the mood, though. She smells like mist. Ominous? Mist? It's different, but also the same. Huh. Is that so? I don't know what you mean by that, but she's a good-hearted person. Always has a smile on her face. Smiling all the time. It's the same. The same as never smiling. Wow. But Ade's right. Alouette's not fake. Fake. What meaning did that word hold to Naletta? Regardless, it didn't seem like she disliked or distrusted Alouette. I'm not sure I get it then. But Naletta merely shakes her head. I don't know. There are many questions I want to ask, but I decide to stop pressing Naletta for now. She can smell mist. I wonder why. Again, you know, I was thinking she's like a supernatural creature or something like that, but maybe it's just because, you know, it would make sense if she was like a generation of like the foreigners that came to Skolotrine, right? Maybe they have a sensitivity to the mist themselves because they can travel through the mist somehow. So maybe that's why she's saying that Alouette smells like mist, because either Alouette is the foreigner herself, or maybe she's somehow affected by the mist. I don't know. A little bit of mystery here. I guess I don't know if we're gonna find that out, but see. I'm gonna decide gonna stop asking questions for now. Sorry. We're not trying to force you to do anything you're uncomfortable with. I'll make it up to you later with those special 8 brand behind the ear rubs you like, okay? Meanwhile, judging by their salivating maws, it seemed the Lyrid twins' minds had already moved on to something else. The smell's got me hankering to sink my teeth into something already. You're like a teething puppy, Kalia. The aroma of baked sweets was certainly enticing enough to justify the obscene growls coming from Tristan's stomach. Though judging by his dreamy expression, he had already skipped ahead of us and ascended to confectionery heaven. Looks like my valuable taste testers are finally here. Morella, who's this? A thunderous entrance, the person we've been waiting for emerges from deeper within the building. The owner and principal baker of this establishment, Mr. Morella. He was a hardly built man whose laughter made buildings tremble at their foundation. It was something of a routine for us to taste test samples whenever he came up with a new recipe, hence why we were here today. Free food, yay! Been tinkering with the nitty-gritties of this batch for a while now. Come, you'll be the first to try it out. The big man smiles jovially as he brings out a tray of cake and begins portioning it with a knife that seemed comically small in his massive paws. While free treats wasn't anything to sneeze at, the most rewarding part for me was how Mr. Morella used our feedback to push the limits of his work. It's fun being part of the process of iteration and refinement behind creating a new dish. Strawberry and lychee cake is the name of the game this time around. Trish, you dirty rat, don't go nibbling corners of my piece while handing it to me. Kalia berates Trish noisily as she smears crumbs all over her nose and cheeks. But Trish just shrugs haughtily in response, as if only rightfully taxing someone for his services. Are you nobility, Trish? Nobody asked for your help in the first place. With a ferocious lunge, Kalia knees her supposed benefactor in the gut, causing him to spew his mouthful all over Larona's nearby figure. Again? Why me again? It's all over Larona. Look what you did, dimwit. Well, there are better ways to tell a girl you like them, Triss. Mr. Morella guffaws the lively scene as Alouette and I help pick pieces of cake out of Larona's hair before remorsefully kowtowing Tristan. Oh, collateral damage. That's what my Saturn would have called it if she were here. Saturn was Mr. Morella's cutesy way of referring to his wife, which never ceases to amuse me considering how powerful and influential she is. Is she? A UL refugee well-versed in technology, Sachi Morella was one of the principal forces behind the development of Socotrine's economic sector throughout its golden age and reconstruction. Okay. Her union with Mr. Morella had been a celebrated moment in history, marking the first time a native of Socotrine and UL refugee was joined in matrimony. Okay. A marriage between different how do you say it? Like different from different places, I guess. I haven't seen Sachi around lately. I hope Papa's not foisting too much of his responsibilities on her. All I see of Sachi Rins nowadays are a sulky face when she comes here for a tea break to couch about work. I'll have to scold Papa of her when I get the chance. I'm sure she appreciates it, shall Per Socotroni custom, Chow was a polite term used in conjunction with a shortened form of the name to address children. Though it's considered endearing, family members and friends rarely use it since it's somewhat formal. Looks like we have quite a bit left over. I've decided. Lorona, take the rest home and make sure those little ones snarf down something good. Are you sure I can really take all this? They don't get to eat sweets too often, do they? It's a cardinal sin for kids not to have any sweets. Giving Lorona no leeway to decline, Mr. Morella packages up the remaining cake and thrusts it into her hands. You're always looking after those orphans as if they were your own children. It's like you're their mom. Mommy Lorona! No, it's nothing like that. If anything, I'm more like their fussy big sister. Make sure they eat up and get nice and plump. Oh, thank you, Mr. Morella. Well, I guess a bite or two on the way back won't hurt anyone. Nom nom. I'm struck by an ominous premonition as Lorona idly chips away at the cake entrusted to her. She might just end up eating the whole thing. Optimistic estimates project only a handful of crumbs surviving the journey home, perhaps a dab of frosting if we're feeling generous. I guess it's a bit hard to resist. So, what's the verdict of this trial, children? Mr. Morella's eyes glitter in anticipation at what we have to say. Having carefully considered the dessert for a while now, I open my mouth to give my evaluation. Well, contrasting the floral, honey flavor of lychee, or is it lychee or lychee? I think it's lychee actually. Lychee. Honey flavor lychee with the tartness of strawberry is a pretty neat idea. I'm not so sure about the execution though. But the consistency of the cake is sort of heavy. I don't think that's the direction you want to take with this type of dish though. Instead of a pound cake-like crumb, I think a looser and fluffier texture will help showcase the lychee's strengths better. I'm really fond of how you use the strawberries though. They're like little acerbic checkpoints that reset your taste buds to keep the sweet parts fresh and free from staleness. Overall, I say it's tasty and has lots of potential. That's a very informative review. And Kalia says, "This is your." It's sweet. And he just gives a thumbs up. Mr. Morella nods in deep thought at the comprehensive input we provide him. Who knows, if pushed to the limit, perhaps this one could even become a regular selection of the bakery. Ooh, a regular selection of the bakery. To hear such words of praise from Shao-Ad. Or Shao-Ad. In his excitement, Mr. Morella slams his hand down on the nearest counter with such force, the resulting mini-earthquake causes our feet to leave the ground. As always, your feedback helps immensely. You can do it, yeah! Practically bringing down the ceiling as he skips away, Mr. Morella returns to the kitchen with renewed zeal. It's a nice feeling, helping someone pursue their passion. Aid's so smart. She always knows what to say at times like these. Aid knows so many big words. That's because she inhales books like some sort of brain slug. What cheek. Well, that reminds me. Pretending to have business elsewhere, I slip behind Kalia and jump her. What? Haven't fulfilled my daily quota for brains yet? Don't nod my head like that. Stop. That feels so weird. Eat her brains. Num num num. Not one to be left out, Trish joins in and begins grinding his teeth against her scalp in a bout of brain suck of his own. What is this? So weird. They're eating me. No, rip. Please stop. Whatever you're doing is sending shivers down my spine. Trying to eat people is bad. Aid, Triss. Yeah, that's what you learned last time, right? Anyways, we should be going now. It'll probably be best to wrap things up now for Lorona's sake. Hey, she needs to go, she's busy. We'll resume our inquiry into your huggability at a later date, Alouette. Kube? Dabadoo. What's Dabadoo? Alouette gives us some final parting scritches before returning to the man counter. See you, Alouette. Play with us again sometime. Or play with us again sometime. I'll return the table well next time I drop by. Have a nice day, Alouette. Bye-bye. Waving goodbye to her, we depart from the Morella Bakery. Thumbs up. And twins leave, and Lorona leaves. After going our separate ways with Lorona and Laritz at the stream's bend, Nolette and I spot two figures in the distance as we near the Rouet cabin. It was Bressil and Mr. Damalor, Papa's proverbial right hand. Who's who? I assume Bressil is the Oni-chan, right? So Bressil is this guy, and Mr. Damalor is this guy. And knightly. I guess, like, again, medieval, slightly modern knightly costume right here. As they draw near, I take a note of the big pot in Bressil's hands. Bressil, I'm back. What's in the pot? Oh, it's empty. It's not. Huh? How'd you know? Who would lug an empty pot along like that, Bressil? Me? I can smell it. Did you make pasta? Huh, yeah. But you can't eat it. Why not? Faced with Noletta's inquiring gaze, Bressil shifts uncomfortably. Well... Seeing that he's struggling, Mr. Damalor chooses then to speak up. How strange. He's always eating pasta, but you can't eat this pasta. I wonder why. Your brother is still learning, Charlotte, huh? He made several errors with his badge and therefore does not wish to share it. I believe he wants to make sure it's perfect before sharing it with you. Oh. You'll make something as good as Mr. Damalor? Yeah, it might take a while, but look forward to it. Okay, I'll wait for you. These two have such a cute relationship, makes me a bit jealous. Makes me suspicious, though. Is Mr. Damalor, is he speaking the truth? Again, okay, that makes me super suspicious. She's always eating pasta, and... apparently he makes the pasta, and Bressil's also learning to make the pasta. What exactly is in the pasta? Also red eyes and white hair. I mean, you could write it off as like just being like an anime trope, you know, because anime characters tend to have a variety of like eye colors and hair colors. But maybe in this case, the fact that they're having red eyes and white hair, it might actually be a unique feature because again, they might not be normal human beings. Maybe, I don't know. You offered to take Bressil as an apprentice in either sword or the culinary arts, right, Mr. Damalor? I think it's nice he chose to go with cooking. I am of the same opinion. With how transparent Bressil was, anyone could tell he chose the path of cooking so he could cook lots of pasta to make his sister happy. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm just reading it in too much, I guess. Maybe it's all innocuous after all. Though I hope he branches out eventually. Noletta really needs to start eating her veggies. By the way, Mr. Damalor, why do ULs even use swords in the first place? One would imagine much deadlier weapons could be produced with UL technology. Yeah, everyone's still like using like knightly stuff, or at least, you know, we saw our dad and we see Mr. Damalor, they're like in like knightly outfits, sort of, like a little modern though, I guess. And yeah, I was wondering when the foreigners, I guess the people from UL, when they came to the old aristocracy, I can't say the word, aristocracy, I assume they had like guns and stuff, right? And that's why they won, but apparently they still use swords? Quite observant of you, Shad. As the oldest member of the Lost Children, I remember a time when our homeland used firearms known as guns to fight. Oh, okay, you're part of the Lost Children, the elite combat unit. They enabled you to kill someone with a single pull of a finger, making even children deadly combatants in war. When the calamities overwrote the laws of our world, many of the projectile weapons we depended on lost their effectiveness. Okay, so guns just, for whatever reason, just doesn't work as well as swords. However, that did not end our wars. Our homeland simply took up the sword to continue its bloodshed. Do not be mistaken, though. UL arms and armor are produced from the state-of-the-art technology. Our weapon theory has been forged in the flames of countless wars. Okay, so yeah, that's why... I guess in the world, if you can imagine, in a world where guns don't really work, I guess medieval technology would still progress in such a way that swords and armor, full plate and stuff like that, they would still like get better and better in such a way that it would look like modern arms, but it would still be swords, right? So I imagine the weapons they're using, like swords and stuff, was not like medieval swords, but like modern swords, right? Like, I don't know, maybe like lightsabers, or maybe just swords that just made from the finest metals and whatnot and look very modern. But I guess they're forced to use that because they just can't use guns for some reason. I don't know why, but maybe just guns just don't shoot because of magic. I don't know. It is interesting though, like a little bit of alternate history there. Reaper Blade, okay. For example, the Lost Children's signature weapon, Reaper Blade. The peculiar double-edged curved sword that enabled the user to deliver crippling low-line cuts from unconventional angles. Yeah, just like super like cool modern anime swords basically, Because guns are boring, just use cool swords instead. Oh yeah, this came out in class, but do you know what the Valorian Master's name was? Master's name? Mr. Damalor makes a difficult expression at my question. She didn't have one. Huh? I was like most people in the war, someone who was dropped onto the battlefield. But Master was different. She was born on the battlefield. Oh, like the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3? Anyway. The closest thing she had to a name was her call sign. I see. Names don't seem like the hottest trend in the unknown lands. The name is something that should be treasured. I've come to understand that after serving under one who has never known that simple blessing. Something we take for granted. Something we should take for granted. Yet it could not be said everyone possessed that small, ordinary treasure. In any case, the young master will not be returning tonight. The young master will not be returning tonight, Shalad, so allow me to prepare your dinner for today. Oh, okay, our dad. That's what he means by young master. Oh, leaving me all by my lonesome again? What an awful papa. On the contrary, it is because the young master is thinking of you that he sent me here. I do have some business to attend to beforehand, though, so I shall be taking my leave for now. With that, Mr. Damalor melts into the shadows of the sunset, leaving the three of us behind. You can go ahead and play with Ad, Noletta. I'm tired, so I'm gonna go in and rest. Why? You'll get lonely. What? No, I won't. You will. No. You will. Well, why don't you play with us too, Bristle? And no one will be lonely. But I need to find out why I messed this batch up. Mr. Damalor said I had to figure it out. Is that so? Well, let's do that together then. I'm pretty good at critiquing food, Okay. AIDS criticizing is scary, though. Oh, don't worry. If you cry over 10 minutes, I'll stop. Why, if it's only more than 10 minutes? Having persuaded Bristle, the three of us set off towards my house. Oh, it must be nice having a big brother that looks after you, Noletta. Bristle looks after me? Noletta makes a mystified expression, as if I had just claimed pigs are flying through the sky. No, I'm the one that looks after Bristle. If I don't make him eat, he goes hungry without saying anything. Oh, if I don't hold his hand, he can't fall asleep. He gets lonely and cries easily. He has trouble opening jars. Noletta, what are you telling Aid? Oh, don't worry. I already know most of those things. Oh, not very strong on Nichan, Bristle is. Well, that's not all. Noletta always chases anyone that bullies Bristle, too. Is that right, Big Brother Bristle? I tease Bristle in a sing-songy voice, causing him to pucker up like a sad puppy. Are you bullying Bristle right now, Aid? Yep, so you better chase me away. Okay. Oh, don't chase her. In a comical turn of events, Bristle starts chasing after Noletta, who is chasing after me. They're playing a game of tag now. Hey. Too slow. It was true that Noletta always seemed to be taking care of her awkward older brother, but having someone to look after like that was a treasure in its own right. Being an only child, it made me a bit envious. Well, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side. Why are you like this, Noletta? It was a peaceful scene, being pursued by a pair of silly siblings beneath the evening sun. This ordinary daily life, full of tiny miracles. The hope that tomorrow will be just as golden as what allows me to accept today must end. Oh, and we're here, in front of a book. Every book always ends in the exact same way. The cut page, from 0 and back to 0, huh? The blank pages found at the end of the story never failed to fill me with a gaping sense of emptiness. The end of an adventure, the freezing of time, the world encapsulated by a book. Yeah, I get that feeling. You know, when my favorite animes, when they're like finished, I always get a sense of emptiness. You know, when an anime or even like a manga is finished, man, it leaves you wanting more. But you can't get more because the story's done unless they make a sequel, I guess. It made me feel lonely thinking the author's pen has stopped, leaving the characters trapped in the limbo of unwritten inaction. The characters in the book cannot move without the writer's conception and the reader's acknowledgement. Wherever bound by the unseen script of a god they can never know, they exist as nothing unless imbued with the will of that god. I really shouldn't read another. Though it's getting quite late into the night, I don't want to stop reading. The feeling of emptiness that a book's end instills can be filled by starting a new book after all. Just like a thin finger turning back a page, perhaps taking a second volume to one's hand, so long as the sorrowful reader continues to reject reality, the story will go on forever. Yep, just have like a marathon of manga. I do that too. When I finish like a manga that I really liked, there's no continuation. I try to find another manga that's like has similar themes and stuff, and it actually takes me a long time to find something as good as the thing that I just finished reading, because sometimes you try to find another manga that has similar like genre and stuff, but it's not exactly what you wanted. So you just keep looking and looking until you find something that's good, and then you finally read that. But then the cycle repeats itself because when you finish it, you're like, it's done. I gotta find something else. It never ends. It never ends. Anyway, but actually, when I think about it, at least reading all of these books, I wonder, because she's a big bookworm, right? And she has a bunch of books she left in the school building. I wonder, maybe that's why she has such a big celestial library in her golden dream. That library, all of those books, are what she read. Like in the waking world, maybe? Or maybe not, because she did say like the books also had no author. I don't know. Anyway, just more speculation. I love to speculate, so that's what I do while I play visual novels. A nursery rhyme from the New World where the lonely me fell in love with a book. Characters she'd been with throughout their entire lives, dear companions she had come to form a bond with. Yet at the book's end, they could no longer stay by her side, so the lonely me asked of the sorrowful me for another dream, another meeting, and another parting. A cruel poison, a sweet, a necessary pain. And that is what stories are. I rub my tired eyes as I gaze out the window into the quiet night. The illuminating warmth of the sun had faded long ago, draping the land in an uncertain darkness. Everything is cozier in the candlelight, and when the real world goes fuzzy, the world on the page grows sharper. Nothing eases poison down the throat better than emptiness. You know, I mean, I assume like the words on these pages are meant to be like, you know, just scribbles because, you know, probably I don't know, like you see like a lot of like media or video games or even like any kind of show. Sometimes they have like books, you know, you see in the scene, but then when you actually look at them, it's just a bunch of gibberish. It's probably because, you know, the people didn't want to put an extra effort to just write a whole book just for the show or a piece of media, you know. And you don't want to get like you only put a book there in your, for example, your movie if it happens to be copyrighted, you know, technically. So the person that owns the book might like sue you for having their book shown in the movie. So that's why, again, another reason why it's just gibberish. Though I wonder, and this might be a bit of a stretch, it tends to be that in dreams, when you try to read something, for a lot of people anyway, like a book or a newspaper or anything with writing on it, it tends to also be gibberish. So I wonder if this is intentional. It's not just like for the reason of just, you know, saving on time, not having like a actual like text here, but also maybe it's because there's a reference to the fact that Alice is always having a golden dream. Are we having a dream right now? I don't know. But again, like maybe it's a coincidence, but like, yeah. In a dream, when you're trying to read something, like a book, it just looks like this, right? Just nothing. It just looks like gibberish. Sometimes you actually you understand it anyway, but you can't really pick out the actual words and sentences, really. At least it's a common experience for a lot of people anyway. When you're in a dream, that's why they remember. An empty, unchanging world, so much like that of the Golden Dream, always filled me with an uneasy restlessness. Being alone like this. Now it was many hours later, and I was still up in my mother's room. Yeah, mother's room. Yeah, we haven't seen the mother. Well, I assume in an anime when you don't see the mother, you know, ever really, and she never really makes an appearance, and only ever described from a distance. I can only assume her mother's either dead or just like disappeared somehow. That's right. Whenever I read the books Mother left behind, a warm feeling always wells up inside me. A feeling I'm always reluctant to let go of. Though, this wasn't actually her room. When she died, we moved away from the house where she once lived. Okay, so yeah, she died. The room merely held all the books that once belonged to her. Papa had brought them all along, not wanting to leave them behind to gather dust in the old house. And I assume she died in the fire, maybe? You know, the fire. Maybe not. I mean, I know Alice was born, actually, after the fire, right? I think that's what she said. But maybe not. The Golden Dreams archive dwarfed it, but it lacked the soul that laid in Mother's private collection. Oh, okay, so it is different. The Golden Dream, like Celestial Library, is different from the books we have in the waking world. Pages that carried a distinct scent, bindings worn by the passage of time. Within the crinkled sheets, there lay a certain feeling, a wistful kind of despair, one that denied reality that was far too cruel. Hey, Mother. Lonely me. That person was you, wasn't it? I've always wanted to ask about her, but whenever I do, it hurts Papa. With a pained expression, he goes silent, looked down as if gazing at words too shattered to pick off the ground. All I knew was that the day we commemorated her death was the same as my birthday. My 10th birthday coincides with the 10th anniversary of her death. I see. In other words, he had died on the same day I was born. Alright, just making it clear. The visual novel is making it clear, that's what happened. Mother's story ended when mine began. A face I did not know, but one I've always longed to touch and behold. Sometimes I want to imagine her face coming alive, laughing when reading something funny, or crying when reading something sad, but I can't. Because to me, he doesn't have a face. Well, yeah, you literally never actually saw her, so there's no way of knowing her face. Unless, do they have photographs in this world? I assume so, maybe. Cameras, right? There's a modern convention. Or maybe not. Maybe Dad threw away all the pictures of Mother, you know, because he doesn't want to remember. I don't know. Even Papa is afraid her face is fading from his mind's eye. But for me, though, Mother did not exist as a person. Having never known of her, she was nothing more than a nebulous concept, a vague warmth that I couldn't give form to, no matter how much I wished to. The only form of connection I had with her were these books. Why? Why won't you tell me anything, Papa? I heave a heavy sigh. About time I call it a day. I sleep here tonight as well. Sometimes I wonder if the blankets and pillows here see more use than the ones in my actual bedroom. Extinguishing the nearby candles, I retreat under my covers and stare up at the dark ceiling. I guess Callie was right about me being a book-inhaling brain slug. With a little chuckle, I boop an imaginary Callie on the nose before shutting my eyes to the world. Time to go to sleep. And then rest up for another day for the bridge building competition. I wonder how that will turn out. Actually, I don't know. What is it? I still don't know what they mean by building a bridge as a competition. I have no idea. I guess we'll see.